So one thing on my heart lately has been the value of intentional living. So what that means to me is living with intentionality, is living within the people, with the people, going from point A to point B with not just a careless action, not just throwing something to the wind and hoping it lands, but living with this intention that you want to bless them, take care of them, love them, hold them. This concept of living that kind of transcends from how Jesus lived his life while he walked and with his disciples, how he intentionally poured into those 12 men, and from them stemmed then the rest of the gospel and continued on from there. Being intentional with, as a whole, like being intentional with coming to Cambodia was really important, but being intentional with now each individual student, each individual kid is what actually is the most important. Knowing what they like, what they don't like, how to live with them on a base level now provides such a great atmosphere for connecting, for growing closer to each other. This idea that you can bless them with the simplest concept of maybe giving them 5,000 reals, which is $1.25 in American money. And that means that they can go and buy noodles and a drink and something that they can do that now just provides them a little bit of simple joy. Intentional living doesn't have to be giving gifts. It is actually greater than that. It's finding out each individual person. So if that's knowing that Sophia loves mangoes and chili, even though it's bad for her, you buy it because it's something that brings her just a simple joy and makes her so happy. If it's knowing that Sokna, after a long day, all he would love is some sugarcane juice or maybe some noodles, it's spending the quarter in our currency on something for them. Now, intentional living doesn't actually equate to giving gifts. It's just a general way that you could be intentional with your time because you know it's of value to that person. Intentional living is way bigger. It's just getting to know that person, sharing with them life. So whether that's sharing a sad story or talking to them about the concept of love or reading a book in English and then them translating in Khmer, that is intentional living, just living with them in their life right now. So many times when people come on missions or in ministry, oftentimes we get this concept of how can I bless them really quickly? How can I spend 1 week and bless them to the fullest so they'll remember me for the rest of my life? That, I think, actually creates a greater barrier within ministry than we believe. The value of intentionally living with each one of these kids is so much greater than just tossing some money at them and hoping it does something good for their life. It now brings you to a human level with them. It now just becomes life. And it's something that I've seen really bring joy to each one of these kids, is just being able to share with them life. Okay, so one of the things that you can live intentionally with the kids is by playing soccer on this very field. It's super unlevel, it has so many stones, but it just means that you get to intentionally live. Like with these guys here, like with Cal and with so many. Just being able to intentionally live with them has been a huge part of being here in Cambodia. Getting to know their names, getting to be able to call them specifically is huge. So you go to a different country, you might not be able to speak their language at all, but if you can say their name and be able to bond with them on any form of level, whether that's soccer, which they call football, or maybe that's arm wrestling or playing a thumb war, that can be intentional living. That right there could be your very purpose for going to another country, and you might not even value it to a high extent, but those kids are gonna remember that forever. The reality is so many white people come to other countries and they have great intentions, but if you never leave an imprint and if you only leave your money, I think you missed out on an opportunity that God could really use for you. These kids don't actually need your money. The kids really need someone to pour into their lives. Now, don't get me wrong, money does help. money helps run an organization like this, where you have a hospital, where you have dormitories, where you have kids that live here during the school year that maybe are not orphans. You have a school that has 450 kids running. You have a church. All of that is run off of donations. Not anyone specific just donates a bunch, it's with random donations. But intentionally living within that is now pouring into each of the kids specifically. I came here without actually a purpose of what I was going to do. I had no idea that I would be teaching PE, I would be teaching English, but my favorite parts of all of it is the nighttime, where I get to just hang out with the kids. And I get to hang out with all of them and learn about their lives and just learn that what they like, how school went, how school was terrible, the exams, all of that. It was amazing. And so those are my favorite times, the times where you get just to live life. Intentional living is not something that you do one day and not the next. For me, the whole idea, if you've gained nothing from this message except for this very moment, is to remind each of us our call to live intentionally, but be consistent in that. You cannot be intentional one day and not the next, because then everybody is left in this limbo. No one knows if you're actually genuine or not, or if they really do have value in their life or if they don't. For me, it's just been this amazing reminder. Being here has reawakened this idea of living intentionally every single day. So if that's with my coworkers, living intentionally with them, my family, living intentionally with them, my friends, living intentionally with them, relationships that mean the world to me, living intentionally with these people, because that is what brings life to our souls.